Okay, so I haven't been updating we series of how to survive living in a small town, part 10. So we spoke about everything, right? We spoke about having to accept your situation, having to agree with your situation, because it's an agreement. You know, you can decide not to do it, or decide not to do other things, you know, or to do it, you know. So you're never forced, though you are led and guided back home so that you can rest. And we spoke about how home is meant for you to obviously rejuvenate yourself, to rest and be in touch with your source, and communicate truth within yourself, because home is created for that's where you were positioned, with the people and the challenges around you for to build your character, right? So once you understand that, and you understand that you were launched out there to gain knowledge, to bring about growth to yourself, but also to your lineage, and that generation that you serve. So you kind of start to understand that, okay, so I am here, I am home, and I have all these things that I've gathered out there. How do I then implement it in a world where they're probably not ready for you, or the focus is different? And this happens in any situation, in most people's lives, that you will be sent to do something that is challenging, that needs you to center and reel yourself back to the beginning, you know. So once you accepted all of that and the process, and started the discipline of the walk that you are in now, because the old you no longer exists. You're no longer the person. I'm no longer the person that I was when I was out there searching for knowledge, out there searching for my truth, out there trying to find who I am, you know, branching out like a tree, you know. I'm no longer that person. I'm the person that has accumulated all of that. And I'm organizing it, and I am pouring it out to where it needs to go. And then I'm learning new things. I'm a new person. After after I've emptied myself and taught the stuff that I gathered, I'm learning new things, and it could be happening concurrently. So it's just it's that. So the best way, once you have reached that stage of life is up is constantly changing, it's constantly growing, and it's constantly guiding you towards the greater self, you know, because essentially you must produce fruits that everybody will enjoy, as a tree. Okay, I'm using a tree as nature, but essentially you are more than that, you know. You're not a tree because you can move, right? So this phase of acceptance masu ususekaya, and starting to learn how to crawl again, because you were just reborn into the next branch of your life, you know, starting to crawl again, going through the process of walking again. You need to have that focus, you know, that focus, and knowledge of self. Once again, I'm not going to be here for long, you know, but while I'm here, I need to offload and reload, you know, unlearn and relearn, you know. It's almost like being being in isolation, where it's just you and your thoughts coming in. The thoughts that need your solution or your attention, they keep coming until there's a solution for it. And that can only happen in isolation, because when you're busy doing other things, you don't hear that voice. You don't hear that voice that says, okay, it's time to offload this. You need to clean up your system. Your nervous system needs to be cleaned up, and you need to welcome new information for the next level of your growth. That is what being home means. Going back home after years of living a life out there, and experimenting, experiencing, doing all of those things. And now you are coming back home to make sense of all these things. What do I need to let go of? What do I need to teach? What do I need to offload? What do I need to relearn, so that when I come out again after this rest, this much needed rest, because it's rest, you come out feeling fresher, come out feel, because futhi nakhona you are not adding in with the negativity. Remember, we spoke about negativity as well kule series. Forget your haters, forget the people who have no idea about your journey in life, who just see when you come back home feeling depressed, going through something, and they automatically think it's a negative thing. Forget those people. Those people are part of the journey. They're part of the story. They're part of the things that you need to get over. You need to understand that, we might be going through the same age or same thing, but we're not going through the same thing. I'm called for something else, and it might happen that it happens in their lives in a different phase or in a different stage, at a different stage. So you're not that. So keep a positive attitude at all times, because imagine if Ingane gave up just because it's struggling to crawl. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't take people just because somebody's laughing and is running around and is acting as if but good, they know how to walk now, they can run, and then they must feel bad about still crawling or still struggling to crawl. You can't be that person. And in fact, you shouldn't be that person, because the time uhambile uyokwenza zonke lezi zinto, you should have been in the thinking that this is not the end. There'll be different stages of life. You can't always think and only want one kind of life. Life comes with everything, and you must know how to cope with everything. But awuzukwenza lokho if you are constantly speaking down on you, constantly hearing negative people, constantly believing negative things in your life. So you need to be positive. It's important to be positive so that you learn how to crawl. And if it's a struggle, you teach yourself to get, no, I'm going to do it. And then you fly again. Eventually you will fly. You are not injured. You are resting. You are not injured. It's not the end. When things are stripped out of you, those are material. You still have your health. You still have your knowledge. You still have your wisdom. You still have your skills. You still have a lot of things that you can use to advance your life to the next level. So it is acceptance that's important. It is then understanding that you're crawling again. You're learning something else. You're not learning it from the perspective of not knowing. Now you're learning to crawl from the knowledge that you've flown before. I know how to fly. It's just that the direction is different. So believe your journey more than you believe what other people are saying about you. Trust and be positive at all times. Be positive and stop hurrying life. If life is telling you to chill for a bit, chill, because there's times where you're going to have to jump. You need to run. You need to chase, But if it's asking you to rest. Enjoy. Kunzima ukujika nelanga. Kunzima, enjoy it. That's why siqale even gardens. Enjoy the time you're given, because it's not forever. There's going to be a time where it's touch and go again, touch and go. So keep a positive attitude, understand your journey, and stop making excuses. Just do it. Go through the process. Go home if you need to. If it's time, do it.